I'm in here working with Dean to record, do like a live performance of some originals and some cover songs. Just work that is like really, really special and close to my heart. And also doing some interviews. So here I am, letting you guys know what's up. So music is important to me, not only because I am a musician and artist, but like separately, music in general is important to me because I feel that it's a universal language, and I think that it's something that can bring people together rather than segregate them. And I think that if we actually, as everyday people, practice the art of like singing and dancing and just playing instruments, it would bring a lot more people together. Even if you look at Indigenous Australian people, dance and singing and storytelling is like a very crucial part of their dreamtime, their religion. And they're some of the most peaceful people and cultures that you ever meet in the world. And I think that there's a reason for that. Music is like an energy, and it kind of connects us to the world on another level. So for me, music is important for that reason, that I think that it is more of a positive thing than it could ever be a negative thing. And obviously, secondly, it's important to me because, it's the career that I've chosen. It's healing, it's therapy. It's a way for me to be the creative person that I am and tell, my own authentic stories through music, hoping that it will resonate with other people and make the world a bit of a better place. When I was younger, growing up, from maybe, I think 10, I was 10 when I started doing the school choir. So that was sort of when I first started kind of like doing singing stuff like outside of my bedroom. And then I got more and more into it as I got a little bit older. Then obviously my friend passed away, so music became really important for me because that really helped me, my grieving process and everything else going on in my life growing up. And music was just a constant thing for a long time. So in school, I went to a lot of different schools because I've like lived in different states growing up. But I think every school that I went to, I was always like in school band, or I was like, vocals were I always did music classes, and vocals was always my instrument, and all that kind of stuff. I think it was like when I left school and I got into like my early 20s and I was in a relationship that was definitely not right for me. I started to kind of doubt myself more as a person. I started singing less, doing less. And then like after about 4 years of being with this person, and our relationship kind of got to a point where we understood like we're probably going to go our separate ways. That was sort of when I started to get back into singing and focusing more on music again. Mainly as well because like I found another love, which was like for acting. So I was doing a lot of acting classes, and one of my scene partners who I became really good friends with, like she was doing a lot of singing like stuff at the time. And so that kind of like brought forward the love that I still had for music, but I'd obviously kind of lost sight of myself and touch with that passion, and sort of spending more time around other people who had that same passion kind of reignited that for me. So I was still living in Adelaide at the time, which is where I'm from, and it was sort of around this time that like my relationship ended, and I was like, I'm getting out of here. Like I am changing my life. I'm not a victim of my circumstance. I'm going to, be the person that I want to be and live the life I want to lead. And so I moved to Melbourne. I didn't have any savings or a job or any family, or I only knew like one person, and us living together wasn't really good for us in our friendship. We didn't talk for a long time after I moved out, and we've reconciled, and like we understand that like we both were going through bad things at the time and took it out on each other, and we do our best to try and always be better people and all that kind of stuff. But I think when I first moved, I was kind of more focusing on the acting, and it wasn't until, because I moved here in 2014. So in 2016, I sort of started to, and I was married by this time. So like I was like a video sort of rough, like terrible videos, like quality, I mean. But just like videoing on my phone, like cover songs, and like just putting them up on, like I had this little like Facebook artist page that, like, no, I didn't really have anybody on there, but it was just sort of like, for me, I was just kind of putting it out there and then not thinking about it. And then one day, this producer called Sam from Melodic Music in Brand, he sent me a message, an inbox, and was like, hey, do you like write your own stuff? And I was like, oh, I used to write a lot when I was younger. I do have a lyric book, but I haven't looked at it in a long time. But I'm open to it. And he was like, well, why don't you come in, like, we'll have a meeting and like we can see, if we can help you in any way. And I was like, okay, sweet. So I went in for a meeting and I had a meeting, and he paired me up with this producer called Peter, who I'm very good friends with to this day, and I still produce and work with him to this day. But that's kind of where my fire and drive and passion for music sort of came from. And then after that, I went to USM, Universal School of Music, where I did like a personal development course, which really like taught me to kind of like let go of my pain and like be thankful and grateful for my trauma, because it makes me who I am, and that changed my life. And then I also learned about, like how to brand myself, how to, write songs, not just for me, but for a fan base, like for an audience, because there is a difference. I learned a lot of really important, crucial things, by going there. And I had some really lovely mentors that, changed my life. I was there for 2 years. The end of 2018, I left. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm kind of getting a little bit too comfortable in what I'm doing. So I want to be out of my comfort zone. So last year I was like, I'm going to work with as many different producers as I can. I'm going to I'm going to like fully brand myself. I invested so much time into, like my like what hair color was I going to have? What color does my brand represent? Like, who am I as an artist and as a person, and how can I put myself into my image? And yeah, and I did that. So I think that more than answers your question.
I think mostly for me, it's everyday life, my past experiences as well as, future experiences. I often think to myself, I know in every experience that I have, which my life is obviously unique to me, but anything that I have experienced in my life has also happened to somebody else. And if I can use what I've been through and express what I've been through, that can help someone else that's going through something similar or something that they can relate to, If I have the strength to put my pain into words, that could speak for people that don't always have the words. And that's the main driving force behind what I do, is just to help other people. Self-doubt is a massive one. You are on the grind like all of the time. It's in every, like, being an artist, and especially if you want to, you want to get signed to a label, or you want to sell out massive stadiums all around the world, like that is a constant hustle. It's a constant thing for you to be working on. And sometimes when I slow down for a minute and I like step kind of outside of that big like bubble of like what I'm driving towards, I get a little bit, I don't know if it's anxious or if it's just, like normal, like a self-doubt, like this is not really reality, Alana. Like this is not really something that you can do. Like you're not really gonna make it. Like you're 30, like you're from like a part of the world where like not everybody got an education or finished their education, and some people had kids before they were 18, and like people live off Centrelink, or they have drug addiction, or like the demographic of like where I am from is something that like sometimes has played in my mind. Like I'm just from here, like I can't really do that. But I know that those thoughts and that moment is not actually true. The truth is, I can do whatever the hell I want. Like, it doesn't matter where I'm from, who my dad is, who my mum is, like what school I went to, what the people around me my age growing up, what bad choices they made. All of that is irrelevant. The only thing that is important is who I am as a person and what I do with my life. And everything that I achieve comes from my decision. And I can either believe in what my silly brain sometimes tells me, or I can actually push through that and know better and try to just ignore that part. But I would say that that is one of the things that I've really struggled with is my thought process, like my mindset sometimes. And I sometimes, I'm grinding and I'm working really hard for so many days that I kind of like burn myself out, and then I'll have like a day where I don't want to do anything. I don't want to sing, I don't want to write. Sometimes I don't even want to listen to music. I just want to chill in my room and watch Netflix and stuff my face. But then I like feel guilty because I'm like, well, that's a day I've wasted, and I would have been one step closer to my goals if I hadn't wasted this day. But I have to remember I'm a human being and we all need downtime. So, there's this kind of like, it's like almost like a battle within myself that I often play. And I'm always the bad guy as well as the good guy, so I kind of play the hero and the villain, It's not fun. But it's life and it's normal, and I know I'm not alone, and that there are probably many other people out there in, not even just in music, but just in general things, when they set plans and goals for themselves and they're trying to aim for something big and achieve something, we often tell ourselves that we can't for whatever reason. And then there's the money side. Like, sometimes I have to postpone things or hold off for long periods of time because, I have rent to pay and I have bills and I have to go to a day job, and I can't always focus purely on just the music. I have to work for somebody else, and that can sometimes be difficult. But then it's easy to get caught up in the moment, like what's happening in that moment, how I'm feeling in that moment. But I think that if I remind myself that this will not last forever, this negative feeling, this situation of just work like 9 to 5, going to work for somebody else, which is not what I personally want in my life, none of that is forever. It's just a stepping stone towards the big picture. And if I remind myself of that, then I can like handle it and I can get through it. See, I want my songs to be an overall experience. You know how sometimes when you listen to a song and you're like, oh, those lyrics don't really have much meaning, but like the music or the beat or depending on the genre, like, is amazing. I can really get behind the music to this song. Or sometimes like the singer could have a really amazing voice, but the song itself is kind of like whatever. Or, the music could be great and the vocals could be great, but the lyrically doesn't really connect. I hope that the people who resonate with my music resonates with every song as an entire package. I want the music to make them feel something. I want the lyrics to make them feel something. And I want my voice to be able to kind of take them on that journey of what they're feeling. So for me, like, I hope that my fans can feel like they're getting a full package, when they, and then there's obviously the other side of it is like, with my music comes me and who I am and my experiences and like my brand and my image and all of that. So I hope that they can really resonate with the entirety of what makes me and my music what it is. I love to play the Workers Club because one, Jack, who is the booking agent, is really lovely to deal with. So sometimes like when you're wanting to book a show, like you have to contact the booking agent or the venue and blah, blah, blah. But he's actually on multiple occasions personally emailed me and like asked me to, can I do a show or can I put together a show for him, and yeah, I just really have enjoyed the experience of, when someone is really professional and kind and, it's easier to, you feel better about the shows that you're doing and you're putting on for that venue when that venue is like timely and getting back to you, or like the booker, and they're really easy to deal with and they're really understanding. And then the venue itself, like I feel like, the band room is a decent size, you can get like a good number of people in there. And I just think that overall, I've loved every experience I've ever had performing there. And I guess that's why you could say it's probably my favorite place to perform.